You need to get Anna partnered
Yes,
so we can have a team.
have a team. That would be
Yes,
exciting.
Anna, yes.
Working so hard.
You can do it, baby. We believe in you.
Yes. So this August I'm going to be doing I think I'm going to do a 2-week Mandarin sprint. That's my language idea. I think I'll do another one of those. We have a challenge at Gladly Global that we bring back every once in a while and dust off, but it's a real language challenge where we take real resources from the target language and we you do that for a week. Each day is a different kind of source and try to learn something. I think I'm going to brush that off and bring it back for August.
Sounds good.
That could be nice. I think last time we did it was Christmas or something. No?
Yeah.
So it's 6 months, a little bit more. It could be nice.
That makes sense. That's logical.
Couch gang, that's right.
Yes, hi Korea.
Welcome.
We're like friends, but good.
Welcome to the Big Comfy
Yubi-chan.
Couch.
Yubi-chan,
Welcome,
baby.
babies.
Hi,
Welcome.
Yubi-chan.
Yeah, we're like friends, but good.
But good.
Yeah.
But good.
Yubi, baby. What time is it where you are, my dear? Because we just woke up.
Yeah, it's like 8. It's like 9 a.m.
I am so sleepy.
Anna didn't sleep because they're sad. No,
Yeah.
I mean not sad, but it's
What?
sad that Anna can't sleep.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. I wish I was happy so I could sleep.
Well, it's a good thing we have a happy stream this afternoon.
Oh yeah, babies. So we have a stream, community stream this afternoon on my Twitch channel, which you better follow anyways because
Yes.
we have study streams going on there.
What are you even doing if you're not following Anna?
Yeah, and these other two. So I'm gonna just write in chat just in case. Yep. So, but today, this morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, we're talking about something else, right?
That's right. So to reintroduce a little bit, we're going to be talking about multilingual spaces today. Multilingual spaces and existing in said multilingual spaces. You can imagine it's actually quite difficult to be in a multilingual space because there is two conflicting things going on. And on the one hand, you want to promote everybody's linguistic diversity, celebrate everybody's languages, be very accepting of different dialects and different languages in general, backgrounds, etc. But on the other hand, you need to actually communicate and understand each other. And so multilingual spaces are becoming somewhat more dynamic, especially since we have the capacity to understand people without so much idiomatic prose. So like in English spaces, if you go back some time before, if someone is from Jamaica, even if they're speaking clean English, the way that we talk and the cues and social cues and even phrases that we use would be so starkly different that it would be difficult to communicate with someone else. The same thing goes for maybe somebody from upstate New York versus someone from Texas. You would feel uncomfortable even within that space. But slowly we're starting to get more used to kind of like listening and looking for the cues and putting it into perspective to who these individual people are instead of expecting the same code coming to us. And so that's an aspect of it. But the other part is that we're also all kind of like dipping ourselves in English sauce, right? So that's an aspect too. But yeah, what do you guys think about our current like how do we handle a multilingual space?
I think we do it fairly well because basically anybody speaks English at this point. So I think basically everybody, at least everybody who doesn't have English as their native language is probably multilingual at this point, or a majority of people.
Right, there's a lot of bilinguals around the world.
Yeah, especially like of our generation, like I think everybody speaks English, or at least to a comprehensive, like.
No.
They don't.
Come on, you've been to Japan. How could you say that?
I mean, fair enough. Okay, but like,
No, because so I think like the perspective of this is a little different if you are a native speaker of English or if you are not a native speaker. Like in my opinion, like there's a lot of like a lot of people tend to forget that English is a learned language.
Right.
And like,
That's true.
you know, like they are like, you know, but English is like the basic, you know, you cannot count it as a language that you can speak, because that's like, if you don't know that one, then how can you communicate, right?
Right.
And personally, I started feeling like my own language was my second language,
I agree with that.
because it's like English is at the top, and then there are the others.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling, because
It
you're
is.
like, my native language is my native language, right? It's the one that I know the best. But still, like, I literally use English every day. So, more than Italian, definitely. So I would say that probably my English knowledge sometimes, as I said, for like daily things especially, it's way more specific. Like many things that I say every day, I cannot say in Italian properly.
I get it.
So
I'm the same with
I guess
Swedish.
there's a shift of focus also for that. Like people that are multilingual tend to go to English for many things, like instead of their native language as well. And that's why I think there's a difference between native English speakers and non-native English speakers.
Yeah, I think that it's, I mean, from the native speaker perspective, how that affects us, I would think it's kind of like you have an expectation that every language that you speak is supposed to be like English for you. So for me as well, I also, I mean, it is my native language, but I also can say the most specific things in English. Not only because it's my native language, because if it was just that, then also Anna would feel the same, right?
Right.
But because I use it in a professional sense, in a daily, you know, to describe things, I feel more comfortable in English. It's not actually true that I feel more comfortable in English when I'm emotional, or more comfortable in English when I'm, you know, having fun or making jokes. It's not necessarily that, actually. But as far as explaining and interacting, especially with new people, even, like, I feel like it has become that role for me. And so us as native speakers then expect the next language that we learn to be exactly the same and fill every role and touch everything. But sometimes languages just don't touch everything, which is why, like, say in Sweden you actually mix in English all the time, or people will just, like, they have something they want to say in a podcast and they will just stop speaking Swedish and just switch completely and say 3 full sentences in English and then go right back to Swedish.
That's how far English has gone, like, into the actual, like, DNA of the Swedish language at this point, where like I can say 3 full sentences in English mixed in a whole thing of Swedish,
And
it's completely comprehensible to everybody. At least it was under like 50.
Right. And so the aspect of that is that we don't recognize that is a natural progression of a bilingual brain.
Right.
That bilinguals naturally do that. They have things that connect better to other things. And native speakers then condemn themselves, English speakers, like, oh, but I'm trying to learn Italian and I cannot use Italian for every single thing in my whole life, you know.
Tough luck.
I must be, you know, I don't speak the language, and then you decide that you don't speak the language.
Yeah, no,
right?
Yeah.
Like, if I can't go to Venice tomorrow and open a bank account, what am I even doing?
But that's not even the point, I think, because you can open a bank account in all languages, right? It's not something that
no,
is...
of course. No, but it's like the personal.
There are some things, like, I would say, for example, for me, like, expressing what I feel, it's probably because I have more vocabulary, but definitely I feel more comfortable in Italian than English, 100%. Or Japanese, for what that matter, but that Japanese is a little bit different. But I would say, as a Western language, between English and Italian, I feel like Italian has more words to say what is going on, while English is more like technical sometimes, you know. But that's also like what is good about English for me, because when you want to say something that is very straightforward, that is very like precise, it's way easier to say. You don't have to use 1,000 words to say the same thing.
Yeah, and I would say that actually, I would argue that English is slowly becoming like is slowly changing also to accommodate that. So it's been a long time since English has been sort of lingua franca for the world, right? It's been a while since there are, you know, colonial countries that have duality, very strong dialect or a second language at home, and then using English. And so English has actually evolved to be more straightforward, to be the language that people use as a layer to something else.
Yep.
So I would even argue that English is quite devoid of the other stuff, you know, the world, in Korea you would call it the world of the heart. 마음세계, right? But basically,
so you're thinking English is moving away from its cultural core?
Like I feel like, yeah, in essence, I feel like there probably were lots of things to obviously, I mean, and there still are in pockets, but they become more dialectal than they are overreaching.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons why when we talk about colonial language too and people speaking English, and so for example, some people might feel uncomfortable like when you speak a different language and people are surprised, or they, you know, Nihongo jozu, or they maybe they don't want to, or they don't expect you to say certain things, but then they go, but do you guys speak English all the time, and you guys use English names, why can't I have Korean Japanese name? Not that you can't, not saying that you can't, but the conversation exists because it's two very different things. People using English and people using another language that is still very much close to the original culture, if you know what I mean.
I get it. I mean, still, so yeah, it's a little complicated because in that case, like, because you hear people, it's never been my case, but you hear people being like, okay, my Chinese name is, I don't know, Shiny Prince or something like that, right? Because then you can choose whatever characters you prefer.
Yeah.
But it's never been my case because Anna is fortunately a name that you can use everywhere in any language.
Yeah.
I wish I was as fortunate, but
I would say, like, if you're gonna live in the country and interact with people of that culture daily, that makes sense, but otherwise it's kind of like, you know.
Yeah. Actually, I've had this conversation before. I can just read this comment really quick. Lord Pine says, yeah, Dutch is similar, though not quite that extreme. Everyone here knows English, and we often just use English terms if they're easier. Korea says English is a simpler language in general. Cyber, what's up? What's up, Cybercast?
Hi.
But yeah, so basically, in essence, I've had this conversation on Twitter before because especially like English speakers will also feel the cringe for other countries as well when people have Korean names, but they don't actually, and the problem with it is that not people who actually develop a Korean name for the essence of having a Korean name, but it also tends to go along, connect with a certain culture of, I get to be in your culture without any, like, you know, it's kind of like when we were talking about the American Italian thing, where American Italians from their own breath will say, I'm Italian, without even thinking twice about what that would mean for who it means.
But I feel like Americans, every American who can trace their roots back to one country or another are like that.
Right.
But maybe it's just like a side effect of not having your actual roots like that. So you feel like you
but
have to
that's so weird
overcompensate.
for anybody else in the world.
No, it is. It's super weird.
Because it's like saying, I don't know, like, it's so weird because that's your, like, why don't you just say I'm from the US? Because that's like, I have this feeling that people from the US, how to say this in English, like, they think that anybody they interact with and they speak English with is from the US as well.
Yeah.
So that's why they say, oh, I'm Italian, because like being from the US is just like the base.
Yeah. It's true. Right. And I just think that like that mind space, which is actually quite imperialist as well, which is that my culture touches everywhere, and I'm not used to being excluded or asking permission to participate in something, if that makes sense.
Right.
So when it comes to say, okay, now I have a Korean name and now I'm gonna only talk in Korean and let me be like this, and you know, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna live there. There has been there's a big assumption that you're entitled to do so. It's the same idea with say when Trump came into power and everybody was like, oh, I'm gonna move to Canada, and all the Canadians were like, who told you could move to Canada? No one said you could come. But everybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Canada, and everybody's like,
yeah, right.
You know,
no,
so
I get it.
That's not how citizenship works.
so it's not just
baby.
Americans, by the way,
No.
but it's just this idea that that's why the conversation exists, because then you could flip it around and say, okay, but who gave anybody permission to, you know, be in America's business, and who gave
America
anybody?
did.
Yeah, who gave everybody permission to have English versions of their names and speak English, and you know, no one, and the idea is different because English is forced on everybody,
Right.
and it is now becoming something that is not very attached to somebody's identity. It is very, I mean, to a large extent.
I think it's been a process, but I'm saying like a process for hundreds of years, because if you think about it, even like at the beginning of the US as a country, like it was like people from all over the world coming together and started speaking English with each other. Even now, people still go to the United States and learn English. So I feel like it's not like just recently or anything. The English is a language that people use to communicate with each other.
Right.
But it's been like a process going on. So like it's not. That's also why it's very hard to try to adopt another language to have the same role, because it's not only like, oh well, you know, like from imperialistic time they just conquered all over the world, so that's why everybody speaks English.
Right.
It's not only that, but I think it's also like there's been that process of having English as a lingua franca way before the recent times.
Right, and that's why I say that I think that English actually has those characteristics in it, because as you said, it's a long, slow and gradual process and relationship that English has had in history, and so even American English, it is a simplification of British English, the reason, and it is a good thing in a lot of ways, because it does create a leveling field for the people coming into using English, because English, if was very complicated, you know, like, and everything's still complicated, but it's a lot less complicated than it used to be, and it's a lot less complicated than other languages may be, because of, you know, they're adapting it for more people, for more exposure, etc. I feel that using English doesn't mean the same thing anymore. Like, so there was a conversation about the United Nations, and a French.
When you do that, my
sorry. There's a French. Basically, the leader of the UN is now France, and they decided that they only want all addresses in French. So if you send anything in English, it will be rejected, right? Because they want it to be in French. And the idea is that, you know, well, English did it, so I'm gonna do it now. And I think, although I agree that I want more linguistic diversity, more equal opportunity of languages to be flowing in and out of the UN.
French is not
this. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
French is not that like you know, language that you can use for technical things. French is something used for poetry. Like you cannot like there's some characteristics that are intrinsic to the language that are not practical for, you know, easy and effective communication.
True.
And I say that
which especially on a global, like, political level, should be prioritized over everything else.
And I say that because I'm not a fluent French speaker, but I know that French is like basically 90% similar to Italian, and I wouldn't want Italian to be used at the UN.
But even when you think about this, right? French went the exact opposite direction as English. So English has now included dialects to be English. So one of the reasons why Jamaican language is not official is because English people did not want new branches, because they're like, no, everything can be English. English is overarching, branching, everyone. Please be indoctrinated into our thing, right? French did the exact opposite thing. Haiti started to speak a little bit different. They go, that's not French. No, that's not real French. Quebec, they started speaking a little bit different. Then that's not French. You can call that Quebecois. It is not French. Goodbye, right? Yeah. Whereas in Jamaica, it was the exact opposite. No, you cannot call that Jamaican. It's still English. It's still English. Like this.
Yeah,
it was a very different process. And so French still holds very closely to French identity. So it's not as easy to say, oh, French is now everybody's language, because it's not. It's French people's language is French.
Yeah, from France.
Right. So when you say English, English is no longer just England's language. It's not at all.
That's the problem. Like, have you ever had the problem that you're like, I want to put English flag in my bio, but I don't know which flag to put? Right. So, I mean, you just put a flag of English-speaking country that you like. Yeah. I usually put English flag because we learn English, like England English.
Yeah, no,
at school.
I also only speak. Well, only I speak majorly, like I only speak British English. So you put the
but like I know that like
Kingdom.
people in Japan, for example, they learn American English. Right. So it would be easier
weird.
for them. It's not weird.
No, it's not.
It's not weird.
It's not weird.
That's why they would. Sorry for the noise, by the way. There's trucks outside. But that's why they would put probably the US flag in their bio or something. I want to read some messages.
Yes,
if it's okay.
for sure.
For me, Aurora said, for a long time I felt a desire to find where my ancestors were.
Did the internet go down?
Oh yeah.
Bish.
Oh yeah, it did.
Bish.
But
It's back.
successfully connected. Okay. Sorry. Aurora said, for a long time I felt a desire to find where my ancestors were from. And say, oh, my family came from so-and-so place, because I felt like I didn't have any culture living in Canada. And that's like so weird to me, because you guys have a culture, right?
I mean, yeah, like your country is like what, 300 years old?
Yeah, no, you have a culture, because like there are some things that are only like Canadian, right?
Like Tim Hortons.
Like Tim Hortons, yeah.
But I mean, what I mean is
maple
like,
syrup.
if you put me and Aurora in the same room, you're gonna see differences, and that's because the culture is different. And it's so weird to me that people from, let's say, the North America would reach into like Europe or wherever they're from to find what they actually already have, because you grow up anyways in a place where, even if you don't want it, has a culture, because that's
true.
what it's just created by the people that
Brooke,
live
I
there.
swear there is. All right, let me talk about. No, I need to say something about this before we move on, because I get it also, because I'm Jamaican American, and you know that it. Like I have U.S. passports. I grew up 7 years in the U.S. Back and forth, and then I grew up 12 years in Jamaica. Right now, I never say American, because to me American is very bland. So I always say I'm mostly Jamaican. My parents are from Jamaica. My grandparents are Jamaican. So it's not that I'm lying, but most people, like, say if you're mixed half, that they want to mention the other thing. I want to mention other things, but America's the last thing I want to mention, and it's just because I feel like it doesn't add anything to the statement. Because what people, and I think this is what happens, that North American culture is so like invasive everywhere else, but that you feel like everybody already has their hand into that. But
knowing that like, because we you're right. That's why, like, we know how the culture is. Like, everybody knows. Yeah. And so you feel like there is no culture. Right, but that's not the case.
But it's not the case.
Because I will tell you, anybody can recognize a North American person when they come traveling in Europe.
Yes.
Because they shout.
No, and I'm gonna but I'm also gonna add to that it's true, because the thing is that we think about culture. What is culture? Food, what you wear. People always go immediately to these things. Yeah. But this is not actually this is this much amount of culture. Culture is the way you behave, the way you talk, the way you interact. There's so many. That's the real culture, you know. And Canada for sure has a culture. I can tell you, I have cousins that they went to Canada when they turned 16, and they left Jamaica and went to Canada. And every time they come back to Jamaica, I'm like, oh my god, you're so Canadian. And not American, I mean Canadian.
Yeah.
Because I can recognize American culture quicker because I'm also American.
Right.
But like, my Canadian cousins, I'm like, oh my god. For example, saying A 100 times, I know that's very stereotypical, but it's true. This thing, and also just like the mannerisms and being softer, this is also more Canadian than American, for example. But there is a culture, and I think that the other thing is that because it's so overarching in the way that Americans, like you said, they take it as the base, right?
Yeah.
That everybody already has a little bit of North American culture.
Yeah.
So they don't know how to like encapsulate it for themselves. Whereas like, look at Jamaica. We're only 60 years old, right? 68 years old. You guys are 300 years old. But I think that Jamaica has a lot of culture, and every day Jamaicans are like, Jamaican culture.
I mean, yeah.
You know?
But that's also like, it's so weird to me because it feels like, because people are still like reaching out to other countries to find what it is, and they don't think about the fact that, okay, now we're a country made by all of those things, but and all of those things together make what we are right now, right? And it's so weird to me to think, because Italy as well was many countries 150 years ago. We were different countries. So like, when I say I'm Italian, I'm actually northeastern Italian. I'm Venetian. That's a little different than saying I'm Italian, because when people are like, oh yeah, Sicily, this and this dish, and I'm like, never eaten that in my life, even if it's Italian, because that's how it is. Like, different cultures develop differently, even like inside countries like that. But that doesn't mean, like, I still say that I'm Italian. I don't say, oh, I'm Venetian, I'm not Italian, or something like that.
Walked into someone yelling Jamaica. Yes, it's a great time to be. I'm sorry to interrupt the seriousness, but it's a great time to be Jamaica. How much gold medal we get? That's right, Jamaica to the world. Right. Yeah, man, party. Yes.
We're in Jamaica, if you don't know, by the way.
We are in Jamaica,
right now. This is Jamaica. Welcome to
now
Jamaica.
You're also in Jamaica.
Yeah, let me see. What is Canadian culture? Lol. Oh my god, I want to know how North Americans look.
We left out poor Lord Pine.
So let's read Lord Pine.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god, Brooke says, oh my god, I was looking into UN internship and I was wondering why one of the desired languages was French.
And that's why.
Lord Pine, pretty sure French even has some central organization decided things about the language. Yeah.
That's Italian as well, though.
Actually,
I think every country has it.
There is a UN board, and they have like a few languages that are like on the board, and technically the rule is that there must be a translator for all of those main UN languages. So it's not supposed to only be English, but de facto it's mostly English. So that's kind of like the complaint, that it's been overpoweringly English for a long time. And so what is Canadian culture? Lol. Oh my god, I want to know how North Americans look.
Oh, okay. the European opinion about this is not. It's mostly not positive, unfortunately, because we tend to think that North American people are rude.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's true. I'm sorry.
They're rude and loud.
Because
so entitled.
Yeah, I hear so many times, like in the trains when I used to live in Venice, American people complaining out loud about stuff about my culture and my country, and that's so rude. And I was like, like those are the things that you see. I saw people ordering frappe, which I guess people wanted what do you call it?
A frappuccino.
Yeah, something like that, but like
blended
like
coffee.
whatever it is at the gelato shop.
Yeah.
And then they were like, this is not frappuccino, and just throwing it away in front of the person.
What the
So let's say that what we see, it's usually not very good. So because it's like honesty, but in a bad way.
But I love how you go through the trouble of visiting a different country, and instead of finding out about the actual culture, you go off your assumptions and preconceptions of the culture of the country you're visiting. So you're like, yes, this is a frappuccino.
But that's
But can I say
connected.
this is still US though.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
isn't-
no,
I'm not saying
Canadians are
Canada.
nice.
I don't know.
We
I don't
love
have
Canadians.
enough Canadian friends.
All right, let me tell you the Canadian perception in the US, which is
Yeah.
funny because in
Okay.
the Canadian, actually, it's so funny because they have no bad rep to the point where their good rep is their bad rep. Because people
Yeah,
say
they're
that
too
Canadians
nice.
are too nice. They're like, oh my god, you can't talk to a Canadian because nothing is funny and nothing is cool because they're too nice and they just go, hey yeah, to everything. That's the stereotype for Canadians. But even
Why do they
I
get
would
a
say-
good stereotype?
I would say the positive stereotypes or this positive, you can see that Americans, their outfits, like their clothes, the way they dress is actually quite obvious to me at least in comparison to a European. So we even talk about style, walking style is
Yeah.
also quite different. You can tell really quickly.
It's true.
And body language, so they might be quicker to talk to somebody. For example, I get annoyed about certain things, but for example, Americans also know how to like have fun quicker. Like they go from 0 to 100
Sorry
very
about the noise.
they go from 0 to 100 very quickly. Yeah, there's like we spend a lot of time like talking about the negative things about America, and I think this is another thing because of the fact that their culture is so overreaching. We know, like, we take the good things for granted, like
definitely.
you know, and so that's something that also makes Americans feel devoid of culture as well. I had a friend who's from Texas, but she's very liberal and very awesome, and she was talking about how she didn't like that in Sweden, where every time she would meet somebody new, they would go, "Hey, so Trump, eh?" Right?
well-
Oh yeah, your country's
Well, now
really
you can
fucked
say
up,
it to
huh?
me. Oh yeah, mafia. Everybody's corrupt. Huh? Nothing works. Trains always late. Right?
And so she was like, you know, everybody likes to talk
So what
about.
is it like to smoke weed every day?
I mean,
Anyway.
you're from Jamaica. That's not the only thing that you do every day. People don't work in Jamaica.
No, you're just high all the time.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, but in essence, as soon as you meet an American, people will start to talk about the inner workings of your country as if they understand.
Right.
Well, you know, your political system isn't really set up in the way that will really is great for da da da. Actually,
Maybe
if
I don't want
Biden
to
didn't
talk
da da da
about
da.
it.
Yeah, you know, and sometimes it's like you don't actually know what is going on in America. I know you watch the news, but you're not American, and everybody does feel like they have access to American culture,
Yeah, but
and in an opposite
Isn't
way.
that also because America wants to put their business into everybody else's business?
Yes. So it's a duality problem, but there's always two sides to the
Yeah,
story.
of
So
course.
one of the reasons why I think Americans also try to steal other people's cultures because they feel like everybody already stole theirs. You know, like the
No,
normal.
they forced it upon
Ameri-
us. We didn't
no,
want it.
no, listen to me. But the normal American is not that American. So there's a duality, right?
Yeah.
So there's the government who is always different from the normal guy, right? And so there is that aspect of like, okay, yeah, but so for example, when we talk about storming the Capitol and like these different moments, you know, Americans are actually quite devastated when these things happen. Like people cry because there's awful things happening, but to everybody else, it's a news story. Oh, that crazy shit's going on in
Oh,
America,
yeah.
you know, and it's like,
True.
yeah, but you do not understand the consequences of this moment or this kind of thing. And we don't get to talk about that enough.
That's true.
Let's see. I guess Brooke says, I guess I felt a desire for traditional foods, traditional clothing, and stuff like that. This is again byproduct of colonialism.
But listen,
Yeah.
can I say something? Like, I think Italian people have traditional clothing. I don't own any traditional clothing.
Yeah.
I don't care about
No,
wearing
Swedish
traditional
people do
clothing.
too. I don't own any of that
But
shit.
like,
That's
and I
weird.
think Italian culture is very eradicated, right? But I don't. You know
So
what?
is
I
Swedish
don't.
culture.
Yeah.
That's
if,
not.
if you in Sweden, if you're a Swede and you enjoy Swedish culture or claim to, or you have an interest in Swedish culture, people will automatically label you a fascist. That's a fact.
It's very strange.
It's weird.
It's true.
I
but
mean,
it's weird.
To be fair, like that's the same that happens for Venetian language. It's not a recognized language. I want it to be a recognized language, but all the people that want it as recognized as a language are all the like
Fascist.
Oh yeah.
not fascist, but like very very like conservative
Conservative
and
nationalists.
not like people that don't care about the rest of the world, only about like which is contradictory because it's
Yeah.
like you want to value what is yours, but also
Not
like,
value anything else.
not in contrast with
No,
everything
no,
else,
no.
but because it's part of everything else, and you want it to be like something that is not gonna fade away in the
Right.
next generations, right?
Mm.
And that's so unfortunate because when you try to get into a community, you cannot have a nice conversation with anybody because everybody is just like straight,
Oh, that's bad. That's a shame.
like racist or
Yeah,
anyways, like
yeah.
very very exclusive of other things.
Mm.
Yeah.
But anyways, I want to say something. Yeah, because Brooke said, let's read some messages. Like when you see the Miss Universe shows, every country has cool clothing. Yeah, so don't think that clothing makes a culture.
No.
Don't think that clothing makes a culture, and because that's part of the Americanization, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's how, like, can I say no? American people, when they come to Europe, and you said it earlier, like you can see that they dress differently.
They do.
They
They
wear
do.
cargo pants.
No, I know, especially because like they do, and they wear shorts that like men wear like these shorts that come right here, that's very thick like this always.
Yeah.
And it's every
Always
time
the-
I'm like,
the
oh look,
freaking
it's
hat.
American.
The
Yeah.
hat as well is always one thing.
Or like in Japan, we have like when you see like a foreigner, there are people. You can never tell, obviously, where the foreign. If there's a white person there, if there's a black person there, you don't know. Are you North American? Are you African? Are you European? Are you something else? Right? But I can tell the Americans immediately because of the outfit. Same thing with Koreans, actually. It's really funny. Like, I can spot a Korean from like 100. When I was in school, we had a Korean join our international, like I was in high school, international school here in Jamaica, and I took one look at their backpack and I went, "Are you from Korea?" And he went, "Oh, how did you know?" I was like, that backpack is the most Korean thing I've ever seen in my life.
I get that though. I get that so much. I get that with Japanese people going around because like it's when you know a culture so well, you
Yeah.
tend to
Yeah.
like recognize the
the signs,
little
the
things,
symbols,
the little things,
the little things.
the little things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yubi-chan, I'm glad to be in Jamaica. Welcome, baby. We welcome. Wagwan.
Welcome to
Wagwan.
𝕤𝕤𝕤.
I love that you guys say that. We're so cute.
Jamaica, by the way, if you didn't know, Jamaica is the word comes from the Taino language, which was the native Indians that used to live here before England killed them all off. And
Wonderful.
the word means wood and water. So we are
Oh.
literally the land of wood and water.
That's why. That's very cool.
That's why,
My
yeah.
Korea is writing a lot of messages. 1 second. Okashi American Shoujo said, I'm Jamaican American, and I kind of agree. I was raised by immigrants and kind of don't like the culture here. I mean, you can never like every
Fully
single
like a culture,
person,
yeah.
like
Oh.
even if it's your own. Like it's not only culture, there's also like how people
Yeah.
live the culture. I would say I don't like many things about my own culture. That's
I-
why I like to travel and I
Yeah.
like to like dip my toes into something else
Yeah.
sometimes. Is because you need like some like shower or something. Sometimes like I want to like get rid of some things
I
and so I
dislike
can
a
appreciate
majority
a
of the
little bit
Swedish
more.
people I know
Mhm.
as a Swedish person.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy their company.
I mean, yeah, that's depends on the person as well.
Yeah.
I would say that the thing about culture, the thing about that kind of thing is that your own culture, we forget that sometimes culture is also a preference in a sense where like you will like and dislike things about your own culture.
Yeah.
And sometimes people annoy you for that, like, oh, but you're,
Yeah.
but that's just life. Like there's lots of things I don't like about Jamaica, but there's stuff that
I
I
just-
love about
I
Jamaica
just
too.
think about your grandma, like, because we took a picture and we had to like pose. I don't know how, like
like
kind of like
you
you
have
are
to stick
gonna-
out your butty.
stick out your body, like you're gonna twerk or something. And I cannot do that. Like, I think it's more common in Jamaican culture to do things like that than in Italian culture. Like, nobody would ever, especially grandma, would never tell me to. Actually, grandma would be like, that's not what a person does in front of other people. So it was very like culture shock at that point. But so like that's one thing that I would be like, you know, like it's cool, but I'm cool with my own way of, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but that's what it's like, you know. You don't like you appreciate. There are some things that are good for you as well, like as a person, I guess.
You can appreciate aspects of culture in their own lane, and it's the more you spend time stepping away from the culture and viewing it more objectively, is the more you can both appreciate the stuff that you don't like and also celebrate the stuff that you do like.
But don't losing yourself in the process, of course.
No. But you know, for example, like I might not like the way that's maybe like, oh, for example, I'm gonna take your example. I might not like how vulgar Jamaicans can be. I'm not a vulgar Jamaican person, but I can appreciate for the persons who do like it, why they like it, why they're like that, what kind of outlet it produces for them, and I can appreciate that without participating. So,
I get them.
Yeah.
That's the same for me. Like when I see anything Italian on the internet, I cringe. But no, for real. But I still think, you know, like these people don't know English and they created their own space. Yeah. And I think it's awesome. Like do it, you know, interact with everybody. Sorry, Italians don't have traditional clothing. They're fashionistas. I mean, even inside Italy, we have different. If you're from Milan, you're gonna be different than if you're from any other small town that there's in the south of Italy, right?
I can tell someone from like Shinjuku versus somebody from Yokohama, like this.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. We're just in cargo shorts, yes.
Yes, always.
I feel, Brooke-chan, I feel like I can tell if someone is from Japan, China, or Korea, depending on their clothes. Yep, you can, definitely. Osnab, you read kanji. Yes, we can speak Japanese. Jamaica. Hi, Brit Brat.
Jamaica.
OnlyFans.
Boom.
Oh,
Jamaica.
no, this is our
Cash.
YouTube channel. You're in the wrong website. How are you doing, William, by the way? I had trouble differentiating Japanese and Korea here at one point. Eventually, I started to learn how to buy their behaviors and clothes. Yep, definitely. Until Korean look styles and fashion started to pick up a lot at a point here. I see. So everybody like started kind of like.
So do Americans wear skinny jeans yet?
Some do, yeah. Yeah, life is always love and hate relationship with everything. Yeah, true.
Yes. I like this. It's a good takeaway. Kakoi.
Ah, baby. Yes. Yes, but that's like how it should be. Like you cannot. That's why I cringe when people don't know about something and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so amazing! Everything is good." You know, like people do that a lot with Japan, for example. Yeah. They're like, "Oh my god, Japanese culture, Japanese people, everything is perfect." Blah blah blah. And it's like,
if you want to live in the 1940s,
it's not like no culture
is only the good things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with things that you don't vibe with. And that's okay. You don't have to hate on it necessarily. You can accept it for what it is and move on. Especially if it's not your own culture, move on, please. Don't get on the internet a bit too much. We're gonna do it a little bit with Let's go. But I mean,
yeah. Actually, that's a good point.
That's a good point.
You know why? I remember actually having this conversation in high school because we had a teacher and a history teacher, and her whole goal was to teach us to step away from the thing that happened in history or the cultural expression, and to see the benefits without without staring straight through your opinions. And so one of the things was feminist movements, because we talk about feminism, and for us as Western people, feminism is very much girls should do whatever they want,
Yeah, like
stop
equality.
stop putting roles on women. Stop putting roles on women. Not just equality, because equality, yes, like options.
Yeah, but
the
basically,
role.
yeah.
But the roles, you know, so like the
Yeah.
shaving of the roles, where we should not have to have the role of a woman, have
No.
to be in the kitchen. We shouldn't be
right.
associated with that role, right? But she was saying, you know, lots of women love the role, you know, so part of feminism is realizing that, hey, do you know, for some cultures it makes women's life easier to not have to think about the XYZ, and some people want to develop that space. So like Japan, actually, right, they say that feminism, like I also did a feminism course in Japan, and they were like, you need to stop trying to force Western ideals on Japanese women, because they also don't want that. Majority of Japanese women want to get married, want to have kids, want to stay home. And so how can we bring feminism and equality to a space that celebrates that, instead of putting our ideals on it, you know?
Yeah.
And so this is another aspect of appreciating from a different, you know, lens, from afar.
I think like the key words here are respect
Yeah.
and education.
Well,
Yeah.
I hope the stream is still up. Can you
No,
see
it's
still
up, it's up,
Yeah.
it's up.
Respect and education. Like people need to respect what other people think, what other people feel, and people need to be educated. So like the thing is not like putting your ideas inside of their head,
Definitely.
but be like, you know, this thing exists.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Okasi American Shoujo said, yeah, if you learn foreign languages, you gotta just ignore stuff. All countries have dirty laundry. Oh yeah, they do.
Well, you gotta ignore stuff, but you also need to be aware of this dirty laundry to a certain extent. Where
So it's love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, yeah, you need to be aware, but also not, you know.
Context.
Yeah,
Context is
context is
important.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
context is everything.
Yubi-chan said, yeah, there was a point when a lot of locals into K-pop started to dress like Koreans and do their hair and makeup like a Korean too. I think I don't see too much trouble with this, honestly,
As long
because
as
we said, fashion. It's not like too much.
Culture.
It's not culture, right?
I think there's an aspect where people just need to acknowledge that it's not the thing that you're doing, it's how you go about doing it. So
Yeah.
especially if you acknowledge, I love this Korean style, I want to do it, nothing's wrong with that. You're appreciating the culture.
Yeah.
If you steal it and then make it yours and not acknowledge where it comes from, that's a different problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can also understand and relate to the whole overarching topic here to a certain level in terms of how Singapore is also influenced by our many races and cultures. What is overarching?
Overarching.
Arching?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So over the covering topic that touches everything.
Yeah. It's ironic when freedom is forcing people to do what you think they should do and not what they want to do. Yeah, that's true. There's also like a fine line between are people like, you know, are people comfortable in changing? Like even if they know that something is better for them, like are they in the situation to be able to do what they want?
Yeah,
Right.
because forcing something when it's not the time to do it, even if you know that that would be good in the long run, can have worse effects if you're not starting with education. Like, for example, racism in America is because they didn't spend time on education and instead just cut it off and didn't, you know, try to shift people's mindsets toward things in a way that made sense. And so there's a lot of problems that have dated back 100 years ago and have not improved very much because of the disconnect between the change and the education and mindset movements. And same thing with Japan, like they did the similar thing where they just switched from a Japanese way to a more Western way, and then adapting that together has also caused a lot of societal like disconnect. So they're, you know, pushing a culture to do something they're not ready for is always a conversation of the heroism in colonialism, right? Like they say, for example, the US going to save Vietnam from themselves, right? You have to let people develop their culture organically. In a lot of times you do.
Yeah, I would say that like, for example, Japan,
Yeah.
just because I know about Japan, I
Right.
graduated about Japanese culture, so I'm gonna talk about this. For example, like they closed the country. They were like, no,
Yeah.
we don't want anybody, and they went to Europe, grabbed what they wanted, came back, and then integrated it into their own culture, which it's debatable if it's been good or not for so many things. Very good for many things, but whatever. It's you don't have to have an opinion about it necessarily. But I think that's a good way to do this integration process,
Right.
because it comes from the people, like what they feel like they want to improve.
Right.
It's not like somebody being there and be like, there's this thing, do
Yeah.
it.
Introducing ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like, yes, let's go there and take their science.
But no, that's science is not. It's democratic.
Yeah.
Democratic.
Uh-huh.
Science is not something that should be exclusive from
No, that's true.
for countries. So it's not. As politics is, I think, like political systems.
Yeah.
Like
Ways of life there's no right way.
No,
so it's
no.
there's
hard
no
to say.
culture.
Yeah.
Like you can adapt systems if they work.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, let's see. Sorry, Yubi-chan. Wait. Yubi-chan, in terms of food, we have so much variety. With K-pop, anime, American culture, along with foreigners from all over the world coming here to study and work. Yeah, Yubi-chan is from Singapore, if somebody is wondering. We start to integrate a little of everything into ourselves here, to a point by which sometimes I feel disconnected from my own culture too. I say, wait, is this Maika-chan? Hi! I used to be super excited to learn languages, but now I'm in college and losing a lot of motivation.
it's different Maika.
It's different Maika?
Yes.
It's because it's spelled with Y.
Y,
yes.
Okay, sorry about this. But is it red Maika? Please let me know. Or is it Mika?
So answering that, it happens a lot. Actually, Anna and I talked about it once, but you're so excitedly learning Japanese, and then actually you go to Japan, and it's actually harder to study Japanese or find the motivation to study Japanese. And really, same thing with access to things. When it was your side thing, you had so much passion to put towards it, but now that it's the main thing, you're like,
Yeah,
can we
there's
stop?
so much stress.
There's so much things here to do.
Yeah. No, I'm a lot like that. Like, so my first year of university, I read, I started a course to become like an English teacher, a second language English teacher. But like, and I loved it for like the first like term. But after that, it was just like, okay, no, go away.
There's too much.
There's too much. And it's like too much of a good thing in a sense, where you're super interested, but then there's all this extra pressure of like academic sort of results and whatever that really takes away from the sort of core of like just learning it because you love it so much and you're so interested in it.
Yeah.
That really causes a lot of friction, I feel like, because you want to. The best way to learn a thing is to have basically a completely anxiety-free environment around the whole idea.
Mm-hmm.
And just do it for the fun of it.
Yeah, and I would say that
So
like
definitely.
you can just acknowledge for yourself that you have a roller coaster of motivation, and motivation is not something that stays. You know, motivation is not something that you can always force. So even though we make videos about finding motivation and rekindling motivation, it's great, but the more you acknowledge that it comes in flows, is the more that you will be able to replenish yourself and go back to it, I think.
Yeah.
And not feel bad that you don't have motivation all the time. So sometimes you just need to do the bare minimum, and that's okay. And you can do a little bit and do what's necessary, or find a friend. You can join us in the server. We
Yes.
have
Join our Discord server. I think it's in the description down below.
Yes.
Should be.
But I'm gonna send the link anyways.
So we have a Discord server where you can study together with us every day, as well as there's different chats for each individual language and different groups, events, movie watching,
And we
game
have
playing.
over 500 active members.
Really cool. We
to
have
get to
lots
know,
of there's lots of stuff
create
going
new
on.
friendships and relationships.
Yes. So if you're interested, you can also try to use the power of accountability and friendship to make things a little bit easier as well.
Because there's nothing more motivating than doing things together.
Yeah, that's true though. It's Mika. Ahaha.
Got it.
I was correct.
All right.
Well, sorry. Yubi-chan. What I meant was that I couldn't identify if I were a local or a Korean person or not from if they were local or a Korean person. Yeah, no, I mean definitely there's but as I said, like I don't know, like even Italian people have certain ways they don't dress us. So sometimes I would say, like for example, we have this stereotype that German people all wear white socks with sandals, right?
Right, yeah, well, that's true too.
But sometimes Italian people do too. It's the cringiest thing ever because Italian people don't wear white socks ever, anyways.
Oh, wow.
But if you see somebody that maybe do that,
Fun
you would
fact.
be like, oh, well, they're German.
My dad always wore sandals with socks.
Right,
when I
yeah,
was a
so
kid.
maybe
But
they're
not
German, but
white
they're
socks
not.
though, but like
Can I say
sandals with
something?
socks.
Can I say something? That's American culture for you. White socks. Did you know?
Yeah,
that?
right.
Did
White
you
socks,
know?
it's so cringe.
I can tell you. No, not
No.
cringe. White socks.
Hush, baby.
White socks were popularized by Michael Jackson. Originally, there was nobody who wore white socks in America.
What?
And Michael Jackson said, no, we're gonna start wearing white socks, silver socks, glitter socks, white socks with shoes. So the black loafers and white socks was a Michael Jackson, not invention, but popularization. And then everybody started wearing white socks in America.
No white socks.
But what about the 50s?
No, it was a Michael Jackson thing.
Really?
Yep.
I don't want white socks ever. I mean, I don't know
It depends on the
what it is, but like, no.
Even with
But
sneakers?
I don't know. I
Even
don't
if you're
know
wearing
why, but white socks.
If you're wearing a
mm-mm.
white top, you don't want white socks
White
with
socks?
your white top.
What? Nothing is wrong with white socks at all.
What's wrong
It's a
with white
cultural
socks?
thing.
Nothing is wrong with white
It's a
socks.
good. I don't know why,
I would
but
rather
I
have white
cringe.
socks than red socks.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like you don't put red and purple together, like those kind of things.
But if
you
you
know?
can put white with white, if you're wearing a white top, you can have white socks.
can, but I'm not comfortable with it.
Fair enough. That's fair. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so there are some things that you would say, like if somebody does that in Italy, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you're probably not Italian. Child, it's fine. You know, like
Natalie pitched in to say,
Hi.
no, white socks are perfect for white shoes.
you can do whatever you want. I'm still gonna cringe. I'm sorry.
Don't
I'm
be so
sorry.
close-minded,
Where is
Anna.
Korea? Korea always backs me up on the white socks thing. It's
I'm sorry, but I'm a die-hard Michael Jackson fan, and I
Mm.
refuse to reject the white socks.
I'm a
I mean, that's
huge fan of white socks.
the fact that
so
I'm saying that
as a
it
fan of
makes me
white
cringe
socks-
doesn't mean that you cannot.
No,
do
I
it.
don't know. I'm just teasing you.
But no, yeah.
Yeah. Okashi American Shoujo says, oh, that sucks to lose
What are
motivation.
those? Sorry.
What are those?
Oh, that sucks to lose motivation. I combine my language interest with fun stuff like music and
Yeah,
TV movies.
that's the best
actually,
way, best way,
actually,
best
I
let
have
me
something
say,
to say.
You're doing
too.
it right.
this month we are going to do a real language challenge. So it's a Gladly Global original challenge where it's only 7 days, so it's not a huge commitment. But each day we study from a native source, a movie, a TV show, a blog post, or something, and try to learn a few things each day of that week while doing something that we enjoy. And so if you are losing inspiration, what you can do is you can look out for that announcement on both in our server and also on Instagram.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yes, follow
Yes.
us on Instagram and join us together, and we can try to rekindle that the fun spirit, the gladly studying
Get glad language
spirit,
studying.
you know.
Yeah.
If
Join
you're
us.
not having fun studying, are you even studying? No.
No. Oop. Sorry.
Also, sorry, Okashi American said I have to go by and enjoy the stream. First time watching. Matane.
Matane.
Thank you for
Matane.
coming. It was very
Arigato.
nice. Thank you very much.
Arigato.
Nagetsu.
Nagetsu. What a color socks do you wear? I would put like beige kind of socks. Is beige an English word?
Yes.
Beige socks. Beige socks are okay. Like similar to your skin color or something. Could be a good idea.
Interesting.
Or like stockings kind of socks. You know, like the ones that look like stockings that are very.
Oh, shit.
But honestly, like
But
if
I'm
I
not.
have white shoes,
Yeah.
alright. Your question is, what if you have white shoes? I would put socks that the
Don't
invisible
show.
ones. They don't show.
Oh, I hate those.
Well,
hate
I mean,
ankle
that's
socks.
you.
But
You
also,
haven't
Anna,
seen
you say match your socks to your skin tone. Have you seen how pale I am, Anna?
Well, that's not gonna be exactly white, probably.
You get pink socks.
You get pink socks. No, I would put beige in that case.
Fair enough.
Okay, I mean, actually, we've been on air for a little bit now. It's close to.
What
we're
time
we're
is it?
time to
1
start
hour.
to come
Round
down a
off
bit.
the show.
Round out the show. So, do you have any flash questions for us before we round
Yes,
off
please
the show
do.
today?
Ask us all the questions so we can
It can
answer.
be
Answer all the
completely
questions.
off topic.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Quick fire questions round. AMA.
What?
Ask me anything.
AMA,
round.
yeah. I'm gonna say that we are also gonna be live this afternoon in our time zone, but
Yeah,
tonight in Europe time
So
zone
like in a few hours.
at 9 p.m. CEST time or 3 p.m.
2 p.m.
EST time. Yeah,
No, EST.
3 EST. It's
Oh, you're right.
3 EST time on my Twitch channel this
Yes.
time. So I'm gonna send you guys the link.
In case you don't
If you
already
want to
follow.
hang out again, we're gonna play community games, etc.
Yes, it's gonna be fun. And
So-
if join the Discord server if you want to participate in the games.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a different Discord server, but in this case,
Well,
come over to the stream and then we'll see.
Oh yeah, it's your server, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That
So
makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
do you have any questions for us? What is your favorite type of noodles?
My favorite type of noodles are
Ooh,
ramen.
it depends on the dish.
My favorite type of noodles are ramen, pork broth noodles with spicy oil, like the ramen spicy oil and some spice in there. It's a little bit like it's Vietnamese inspired, but not too much of the vinegarish taste, so it's not sour. And then you put extra garlic crumbles, thin ramen noodles. I like hosomen with a bit of what do you call it? What is this called? Bean sprouts on the top. This is my noodle combo.
I'm hungry now.
Me too.
Go to food
Sorry,
there.
close,
No,
short haul. Said just popped in now, so you may have talked about this already. But what language is everybody currently focused on?
We had
I
a
can
very
see.
big cultural debate actually. So today we haven't talked about anything too specific to language. but
yeah.
It was very culture related.
We're all currently focusing on Italian.
Not me.
no, well, we
Okay, so wait, I don't know if they know what languages we speak already. So we
Yeah.
can
I mean,
go
all the
one
flags
by
are
one.
there, so.
Yeah, okay. So I'm from Italy, so I'm native speaker in Italian. I can speak English and Japanese, and also I can speak Venetian language.
Wow.
And I'm learning Swedish, very as main language, but also French and Korean and a little Mandarin.
beautiful. And I'm Jamaican American something, and
Who knows?
and Chinese heritage, and I can speak Jamaican English, Korean, Japanese, Mandarin, and some Spanish. And Swedish. Did I say that?
No.
And Swedish. And I'm currently focusing on Mandarin because I can read and write Mandarin okay, but I cannot. My speaking is I'm still a little nervous, so I'm trying to come into my confidence with Mandarin, and so I'm doing like a Mandarin sprint this month actually.
Wow.
How?
And how?
Jayo.
Nuli,
Yes.
jayo.
Jai.
我
And
努
I-
力学习中文啊。
Yes, I am Swedish, and I speak English and Japanese relatively fluently, and then I'm currently learning Mandarin, kind of Korean, and I'm dabbling in Irish and Italian.
That's it. There you go. What are you focusing on, Chloe?
Yes, Chloe, tell us, what are you focusing on?
That's cool. Yeah, we have. Did I forget any flags, by the way? There, I was just wondering
I don't
about
think
it,
so.
but I think it's.
Those are
problem.
like the main ones, I think.
The French flag is not there,
Ah, well.
but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. I need to start studying French a little bit more because I love the language and I'm so pissed.
I need the Taiwanese flag because I'm learning Taiwanese.
Oh yeah,
no,
that's
I'm
true.
sorry. I did this like yesterday at 1 a.m. So
It's okay.
I only had
That's
the Chinese flag.
I don't know why, but my hands have been feeling like doing waves this entire trip. I keep like.
It's alright. It's relaxing.
We've been bathing too much in the ocean.
Yubi-chan, someday you're going to be better than me Mandarin. 𝕤𝕤, thank you.
不，请教我中文。谢谢，
Please teach us Mandarin, Yubi baby.
拜托。
I want to. Actually, I think. Wait, in Singapore they use traditional characters, right?
Probably.
Mm.
Do they?
Do they? Please tell us.
Probably.
I prefer traditional characters.
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
We all learning traditional characters.
Maybe it's our Japanese bias, or maybe not in your case. Maybe it's
Chloe,
our heritage,
hope Irish is going well for you. I tried to speak some today and was very embarrassed by how badly it went.
Oh no, I mean I'm barely a beginner. Like I'm not even I'm like A0 in Irish, and I have like no reason. I'm still resource hunting, but it's so nice. I love it.
I love the sound of it, honestly.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. I liked it too actually. When I heard Elmo studying it, I got red eyes, as we say in Jamaica, where I want to do it too. Like I feel jealous of their experience.
Why is red a jealous color in Jamaica?
We say green.
Yeah, green is the color.
No, green is no because
Green with jealousy.
because
Green of jealousy. Yeah.
green
Yeah.
is natural and smelly in Jamaica, so red is jealousy. I guess.
I see.
I guess it's like you're angry. It's bad mind, right? So you're like.
Oh.
No, we say red is anger.
I think it's like a combination. So jealousy is like connected with angry. So you're like, kind of thing.
Mm.
Bad, because we say bad mind in Jamaica as well, which means that you angrily do things because you're jealous of other people or because you don't have what they have. So we call it bad mind.
That
so
makes
it's
sense.
connected, angry and jealous.
No, okay. Now we use simplified. So when I got to Japanese, I struggled with writing kanji.
Oh, that's interesting though.
I didn't know that. I was so sure that it was.
I thought
traditional
everybody
characters.
used traditional except for China.
So did I. So now I know. So China and Singapore use simplified, and then Hong
Hong
Kong,
Kong and
Taiwan
Taiwan
use traditional.
Traditional.
So interesting.
Yeah. I honestly I would like to learn both.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think the thing is that the reason why I recommend everybody to learn traditional is that when you learn traditional, simplified becomes easy.
yeah,
So
I get
it's
it.
very.
So you
I
get
mean,
it both for the price of
I'm
one.
kind of embarrassed because I only study traditional, meaning every time I read, every time I do everything, I usually do it in traditional.
Yeah.
But simplified is everywhere, so actually when I write, I automatically write in simplified because it's faster.
But that's okay as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
nah, it's okay. It's whatever.
also like coming from Japanese, that's why probably I appreciate the traditional.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I
a
feel the
little
same
more.
way.
But also I appreciate, as you said, being able to write fast.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that.
It's like shorthand.
I mean, the thing is that when am I ever going to have to give somebody a handwritten thing anyway? It's fine, like
Yeah,
as long
right.
as you know what I mean.
Oh.
Let's see.
Internet is ciao. Ciao internet. Wait. Yes. Brooke-chan, also if you stare at something a long time because you want it, your eyes go red.
Yeah, why not? Why not? We love it.
I love that interpretation. That's what I thought the first time, but no, the first time I thought about weed.
Yeah. The first time you thought about
But
reading,
weed is
I was
also
like,
green.
No, but you get red eyes.
eyes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
But I think this is completely
Separate.
separate.
I
Yeah.
agree.
You know, it's so funny. I never even really thought about it. Like, I don't think about this aspect probably because of the cultural way I use the language, you know? So, like, when I think of, like, weed, the only things when we talk about quality, when we talk about weed all the time.
Yeah.
Every time you talk about weed, it's like talking about quality, nothing else, right? And then when you talk about, so red eye, we talk about that a lot. Like, Jamaicans always have, red yai, we say.
Red yai.
Yai, we don't know why.
Red
Yeah, so we were talking about it with like goods, for example, with my grandmother. When you want to import things, you have to figure out what is popular in America because Jamaicans have red eye for what
Right.
Americans have, right? Yeah.
I was
Do
thinking
you have an
about
Apple Store
something.
here yet?
No.
Got it.
Chloe-chan, it's hard to find resources because no one speaks it here. Hopefully more Irish resources will appear
Yeah,
appear
I
now that more people are getting interested in
Wait,
it.
Chloe, are you Clicky Studies?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ask Quickie.
Yeah, I thought so.
Baby.
Hi, baby.
Yes.
Yubi-chan. Yeah, when I went to Taiwan, I couldn't read a lot of things, so it's good to learn traditional first. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. What the best with Irish? Yeah. Oh my God, Irish is so cool, though.
Irish is
Don't make me want to learn Irish.
Well, you should.
Honestly, I would prefer Scots Gaelic first than Irish.
Why?
I don't know. It appeals to me more.
I mean, they're very similar.
And maybe because I miss Beetle Channel.
I mean,
I was just thinking that. I was like, is it?
Yeah,
That's the point.
Wait.
Wait. Can I say something? We were talking about motivation, right?
Yeah.
So for me, the main motivation for any language that I've ever learned is people.
Definitely,
So,
I agree. I'm totally with you.
Yeah. So like, I learned the language because I want to communicate with those specific people.
I agree.
And like, that is the kind of motivation that doesn't go away.
True.
And so every time I would be like, oh my God, but I want to be able to speak because I want to speak with this person.
Yes.
And maybe like you have other languages in common, but it's not the same, right?
No.
What is Refold?
What is what?
Is that an app or
What do you
something?
think about Refold? I've never heard of it.
Me too. Never.
What is that, my dear Alexandra? Tell us.
Hi, by the way.
Inform us.
Welcome.
by the way.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, how you do?
I am hungry.
Me too. I think we need some
We
round
have
ups
like no
soon.
food.
We have pasta.
Anna,
And
make us pasta.
We have
I
rice.
can
we
make
have
pasta, yeah. We have rice here.
food. Yeah,
We have stuff. We have stuff. I'm pretty sure we have a lot of,
we have like 5 packs of mac and
vegetables.
cheese.
Oh yeah. we
Let's
have
make mac and cheese for lunch. Oh my God, you
And
know
for-
that
and
I've
after,
never
because we're
had
gonna be
mac
very
and
happy.
cheese. You know, I've never ever had mac and cheese. Can you believe that?
Well, they don't even sell it in Sweden.
No,
Yeah,
you
they
think
do
they
in the
sell it
American
in
aisle.
Italian? No,
They have
Sweden
it.
has an American aisle.
They
and
had
it's
it?
there.
They
Do
have mac
they?
and cheese.
Yep.
we don't have any.
They have an American aisle
Yeah, but
that's
they don't
just
have
well,
it.
it's
I
a
think-
small
I
aisle.
think
It's like this big.
I think people would riot if they start saying like Alfredo sauce.
Alfredo sauce.
You should do a reaction video like
I
it's
read-
Italian reacting to mac
I
and
read
cheese.
I
for
read
the
the
first time.
history of Alfredo sauce.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not actually. So in Italy, I think you mentioned it before, but it's supposed to be fettuccine al burro, right?
I mean,
With butter.
I
right?
read that about it as well. It's from Rome, so I'm not
Yes.
from the south of Italy.
Yes,
Yeah,
but I
fuck
heard.
that
But I
shit.
heard it's actually not. But it's still not the same. So like the
Yeah, no, definitely.
fettuccine al burro
Al burro.
al burro is like so it's basically just butter with like a little bit of olive oil and no cream, olive oil and cheese.
Yeah.
So they mix the cheese
So
into
it's like
it and
cacio
fry
e
it.
pepe without the
So-
pepe.
Yeah, and so it was this, but then when that Roman dish went over the boat to America, they decided to make it better by adding heavy cream.
Heavy cream.
Yeah.
And also, do they put like chicken in it or something?
Yeah, and then chicken on top. So you cut a chicken breast and put it on top like
Yes.
this. Yeah.
I would put chicken in risotto, but not in pasta.
They do it always in
Interesting.
pasta. There's always, when you order pasta in America, there's always something on top. Like either chicken or shrimp or something like that.
Chloe, mac and cheese is the best. It's so expensive here, so I always bring a ton back when I go to America. That's interesting, though.
We'll see.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I think I've only had it like once.
No, I've never had it.
Oh, lol, it's Matt versus Japan's method of immersion learning. It's a pretty big community of language learners who follow the method. Ah, okay.
So-
I will have to look it up a bit. But
yeah, it'll be interesting to research, but
in essence, we also follow immersion learning.
Yeah, definitely.
Like all three of us really like immersion learning. Although Anna is a little bit more traditional, so it's always great to have her input and perspective as well, so that we have a more rounded idea. The idea of
But yeah, no, sorry, because
We follow the
it depends on
global
like what kind of
program.
immersion. Because I tend to not like I tend to, as I said before,
Yeah.
it's more like about people for me.
yeah.
So
But
I
I mean-
tend to like surround myself with people who
Yeah.
speak the language
But-
more than like watching TV series or
Yeah,
something.
but you also like you use more traditional study mediums like textbooks and things.
Yeah,
more
it's
than
true,
us.
but
like you have a
that's
more
how I
layered
learned Japanese.
process.
I
Yeah,
would
right.
go out with Japanese people.
Ah,
Yeah.
So
I get, but so like what I was saying is that Gladly Global, our whole like idea and aim is to have a more like multiple perspectives and different methods, because the thing is that there is no one method that is like grades or end all. So I'm sure Matt's method is pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look into it.
Definitely.
But the idea when you watch YouTubers and when you watch language influencers is to look at what they do and try to see similarities between the ways that you learn, what you have experienced in your studies, and then take elements of what they do and apply it to your studies or test different things to then see what works for you.
Yeah.
So in essence, that's one of the reasons why we joined together to make a channel, because we didn't want to be another resource of, hey, study like me. You know, the idea is,
I have the answer.
look how Ray does it, look how Elmo does it, look how Anna does
Yeah.
it. Then think about how would Alexandra do it,
Yeah.
and think about it in this way.
We have also, we talked about this in a past event. By the way, we do events with Duality Global.
Once a
so,
month.
yep. If you want to check it out, you can see our coffee page. There's a link in the description where there's like the latest event, or you can join our join
Also.
our Discord server.
Also,
Join our
regardless,
Discord server because
best.
we have a lot of cool events going there, speaking practice, etc. Book club as well, accountability meetings, all this cool stuff, and also there are study rooms for people that just want to vibe and chill.
Yes.
So if you're interested, why not join our Discord server? Do we have !Discord or am I
think we do.
Oh, well, I have the link here.
We could
so
just test it just to see what
join
happens.
our Discord. And so if you're interested, we were talking about in a past event that Elmo hosted
Yes.
about like how some people are visual learners. Does it work?
Well, it usually
Wait,
Nightbot takes
wait a
like
second.
100
Okay.
years though. So we'll see.
Visual learners or more like auditory learners, let's say,
Mhm.
or like more what was the
It's not
word?
I hosted the event. I can't even remember. Kinesthetic.
Learner types,
Kinesthetic learners. So I'm gonna just post it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to like think about these things because we are used to like there is one way to do this because everybody's
Right.
the same, but
Yeah.
it's not, and we're not educated about it that
No.
much.
Yeah.
I think so.
Not unless-
Framework is extremely important, even though I think a lot of people overlook it.
Yeah.
And so
No.
you should always like find, look at creators with that mindset in mind.
So I didn't learn about this stuff until last year because of what I was studying in university. But still, I've still been studying languages for over technically all my life because I'm also obviously not native English speaker. So, but I never actually knew about this stuff. So it's never talked about in any space ever, even if you're learning a second language.
Hi.
Bye bye.
Sorry, we have weird people. I also think this is the person from before.
Probably. Fucking trolls.
Nice. Yes.
Fish.
Ben Hammer. Sorry.
Bring the hammer
Oh my
down.
god, there's weird people on it. Even on YouTube though.
No, but it's always what happens is that, YouTube, they push lives more, so it'll be like on the page, so people will just discover you and come in and be like, ooh, pretty people.
Yeah, we're pretty. Thanks.
We are pretty.
Yes, we are.
Anyway, I also want to read. Brooke says, yeah, there's always meat in the dish. Americans are obsessed with meat.
I think in Italy as well though. Like I don't think that's
No.
But
Americans are obsessed
Swedish
with meat.
people eat so much meat. Though.
Americans are obsessed with meat, I promise. It's like...
Yeah, I
it's-
mean, I've never seen anybody eat like a 20-pound steak before in my
No,
life.
Americans are obsessed with meat. I'm gonna tell you. I've been to Europe. I haven't been to Italy, but I have been to Italy.
You should come over.
I haven't been to Italy
and
in
try
my
our
adulthood,
cooking.
so I'm going to go. I'm actually planning that this fall is going to be my time to travel around Europe.
Nice.
Come over to my region though,
Venice.
because
Yes.
I feel like this is as well.
And
Like
I
when
will
people
book it
when
today.
people come visit, when people come visit Italy, they're like, oh yeah, let's go to Rome or Florence together. I'm like, that's cool, but I don't know anything about
No, I get
what
it,
is
I get
going
it.
on there.
I know, I get it, because it's the same thing when we go to Montego Bay. I don't know
Yeah.
anything. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a nice beach, but I don't know what to show you,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's just like...
So yeah, if it's
like-
my region, then I can take you
I will
anywhere.
go.
You know, like
will go.
so.
I'll come stay with you.
Yes.
I'll come stay with you.
Yes.
Yes.
I have bed.
Woo,
Yes.
woo.
I'm not
my God,
telling you to sleep on the floor like you told me when I visit Sweden.
No,
Everyone was like, okay, we have space on the floor.
we only have
We
one
only
bed.
have one bed.
Really?
We had to. What we need.
Our bed is
No.
like the size of this couch, Anna.
I've been trying to get Elmo to join a few queues to switch the room and get more space for ages, but they're like, change, no. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it would be cool.
It would be
It
cool.
would be cool.
Oh, sorry, I have a painting. By the way, this painting was made by our artist, Natalie. If
Yeah,
you think
beautiful.
it's pretty cool,
You can't
why not
buy it.
see more art that Natalie made on our coffee page?
Yes.
Inside our Polyglot magazine.
Yeah.
Advertisement transition.
Yep.
We have a Polyglot magazine that we publish every 3 months. It's about travel, language learning, culture analysis, or I don't know, culture appreciation, I would say. There are printables, or anyways things that you can write on, usually on all the issues, a recipe or something about food of the world, and cool art and cool design. So if you're interested about it, just follow the link that Ray just posted,
Yes.
and get to know more about it. We actually printed our first issue.
Yes.
It's our 6th issue, but it's the first time that we printed.
Yes.
So we're
first
very
printed
excited.
issue.
First printed issue. So it's exciting. We're gonna send it to all the people that pre-ordered it. We got a lot of sales. We're very happy. People are interested in this. So we're gonna keep working hard at it,
Yes.
right?
Woo. Yes.
I also think that it's kind of time to eat something because I'm
Yes,
hungry.
me too. Alright guys, thanks so much for coming to
Thank
our
you.
live stream this time. We do this on the first or second Saturday every month. And you can always see announcements for when we will do this on our Discord server and
Join
social
today.
media. So you know we have Instagram, we have Twitter. Find us. We also do like little tidbits and share your wins and help you to stay accountable and motivated for language learning. So if you, let me not say if you. We'd be so happy to see you again somewhere on the internet.
Yes.
And we hope you have a lovely Saturday. It is Saturday.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.